It's been a while since my last review, but I just got my hands on something really cool I wanted to show you guys. It's Rotary's latest release, the RW1895 chronograph. I'm a big fan of the brand. I think they have a broad selection of designs at a good price with some good heritage behind the brand. And you all know I'm not a big fan of fancy packaging. I don't want my money to go towards that, so I do appreciate the usual packaging for this. But I did want to show off this watch right here, and we'll talk about why I personally am a big fan of this. Here it is. Now I do think, I'm surprised they didn't come up with a catchier name than the RW1895 chronograph, but for whatever reason they didn't. I think there's a sticker here. Yeah, here it is. Let's take this off. Now, instantly, the thing that really catches my attention is the fact that it's such a small watch, and we'll do some size comparisons in a bit. But as a guy with relatively small wrist, I feel extremely underrepresented in the chronograph market. I think as of late, we've seen a lot of companies going more into the small dive watch market, but for some reason, chronographs, maybe the movements are just too complex and big. But this watch right here comes in at 37 millimeters. But considering that the bezel here is pretty thick, as it should be, it's a diver's bezel that kind of turns here. And the chronograph buttons here, this actually wears, in my opinion, smaller than 37 millimeters, which is absolutely perfect for me. I think this is closer to a 36 millimeter maybe, and we'll see in size comparisons in a bit. Now, part of what I love about this is, as I understand it, this is a kind of a reissue of one of Rotary's classic Aqua Plunge watches, back from, I believe, the 60s or 70s. But this all steel bezel, rotating bezel, chronograph that's in a small package is just super, super attractive to me. It maintains a thinness. Now this does come with a mecha quartz movement, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. Let's see that there. There it goes. Now really, I am excited about this watch simply because I don't see anything like this. The size is just fantastic. And I think the price, it's a fair price. This does come in a couple of different variants. This is obviously the leather strap variant, but I think there are different colors and one with an actual bracelet. This is a no-nonsense kind of watch. It's very straightforward, great design, a vintage design with modern technology with the mecha quartz in there. You do have this mineral crystal that I think they call it the bubble crystal here, that kind of gives that vintage look to it. And besides that, there's not really much else to say. This is just it's great to see a small chronograph. And I did bring these other out on purpose to kind of show this off. And I try to find popular chronographs that I think a lot of people can attest to their size. Now, I think this Bulova moon watch here, the Lunar Pilot, is very popular. A lot of people might have it, and they'll be aware and familiar with the size. Now look at the size compared to this one right here. Now obviously the Bulova is known for being a pretty big watch, but just here next to it, it's absolutely enormous compared to the Rotary, which I think is what they're going for. They're going for that really small package. Look at how far the lugs reach. The buttons on the Bulova really do make it much, much bigger. Also, I did bring out this Orient. Everybody knows the Panda, the Neo 70s Panda. And this is actually, I think it's gotten some popularity because of its great size. But even at that, the Rotary is coming in quite a bit smaller, which to me is just awesome. I don't see those small chronographs anywhere in any market right now. And just from this look right here, you can really see the depth of the Rotary because of that mineral crystal. That's a bubble crystal here, whereas the Orient has a flat one. and it adds that depth and it adds to that vintage kind of feel to it. Finally, I did want to kind of compare to my last rotary watch, which is this big Pilot here. Now obviously they're completely different, and the reason I wanted to bring this out is to kind of show, let me wind it here. I wanted to show the wide range of designs this brand has. And I really enjoyed this watch right here because it's an obvious call to the IWC Big Pilot. There aren't very many competitors, I guess, in that market. This is just a super highly legible watch. I love the second hand that adds a little bit of color. The color palette used is great. And in my opinion, it is just an overall well executed watch. Now compared to this one, it's absolutely enormous, as it should be. But I really do like showing these two side to side because of the wide range of designs that Rotary has here. Let's check out the lume on the Rotary. I have not checked that out yet, so let's see how that is. And then we'll throw it on the wrist and we'll see how that wears. So like usual, we are in some light, and actually quite a bit of light. But let's go ahead and check this out. I think that when you're in complete darkness, everything looks bright. So here with some light, that's pretty good. That's some pretty good lume. I appreciate that the numbers are actually loomed. I like that the sub-dial second hand is actually loomed too. You can see the pip over here, down here is loomed. Now my experience with Rotary watches is that it doesn't have the brightest lume, but it does last quite a while. So we'll check those out too. Now here it is compared to the Pilot watch. Now I do understand that this lume here is a lot weaker simply because it has the numbers loomed. Now I'm not an expert when it comes to this subject, but I do understand that when the paint is black, it's more difficult to catch that lume. So you will see it a little bit weaker on this one simply because the numerals are actually black. Now let's check it out next to the Orient. Here it is. Very different lume application. Both of them are done very well, and of course the Orient is such a fan favorite for a reason. Such a good looking watch. Finally, the Bulova over here. Of course, this one is kind of notorious for being weak. Yeah, you can't really even see it in this kind of lighting. So even versus the Bulova, the Rotary kind of blows it out of the water. Overall, I really do enjoy this Rotary because of the size, like I said, but also you don't see a lot of steel chronographs here, especially one that rotates. It's just a lot of different factors combined into one piece that I really do think it's cool. Let's go ahead and throw it on the wrist and see how that wears. So yeah, on the wrist, this absolutely disappears. It wears a lot smaller than I thought, and it's probably because of the long lugs. As you can see here, they do extend quite a bit out, so the watch face does look smaller. Super comfortable, really small. I see this being a good daily wear that just disappears on the wrist. You'll be seeing a lot of this one.